Hi everyone, my name is Hannah. I go by Microbiologist Makes here on YouTube as well as over on Instagram. This is my Flosstube channel or section of YouTube where I talk about my hobbies, so cross stitch, crochet, knitting, thrifting, and this is episode number 9. I hit 1,000 subscribers, and actually on my way to 2,000, which is incredible, and we'll have a giveaway towards the end of the video if you'd like to stick around for that, and pending 2,000 subscriber video, probably not so far away either, which blew me away. Thank you all for returning or checking out my channel for the first time. I appreciate you so much, and I'd like to start out today's video going over some thank yous and mentions of other channels that I've been watching to pay it forward a little bit as well. So starting out, Vera's Stitching Corner shouted me out beginning of the month, so September, and she, I believe, is working towards her PhD as well, or already has her PhD. I'm not sure. I didn't go back and watch all of her videos. She has quite a few, as well as some stitch-alongs, which are fun to watch too. So she has a lot of full coverage patterns going, as well as some dimension kits, and I saw her finish of A Year in the Woods, the reindeer. It's gorgeous, so go check her out. Nicole of STEM X Stitch Design also shouted me out, another PhD student. So there's definitely a PhD to cross stitch pipeline. That's a thing. So Nicole has an amazing channel. She recently started designing, so I believe she sells her patterns on Artsy, and they're very like earthy, science related, right up my alley. So definitely go check her and her work out. Emily C put me in her stories, which a total fangirl moment. I've been watching Emily and Eclectic Possessions for quite a while now, so it was a little surreal that I'm on her radar. So thank you, Emily. Stacy of Bluebird Paper and Thread, I have to consult my list, shouted me out recently as well in her Flosstube. And she has a lot of, like, a great variety of projects going. She has a gorgeous craft room, totally not jealous. And yeah, go check her out. Phoebe of Moonshine Stitchery also mentioned me. Thank you so much, Phoebe. She has a really cool way of filming, so it's sort of like a green screen like overlay of her in front of her projects at the start, and then does like a forward facing view, which is really nice and unique. So that was cool. And she also is stitching Autumn Town, so I like to see that circulating and making its rounds, but she has some beautiful projects too. So I think that concludes my thank yous, and then some other channels that I've been watching recently. Hillary of Subpar Stitches. She's a fairly new Flosstuber, and she's like a pro. I could listen to her talk for quite a while. So she has like a very professional sounding voice. Like I think she's meant for radio or something along those lines. Yes. And she stitches a lot of those like small art pieces, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And she also has a Quaker sampler going, so it's like a duck themed Quaker pattern, and that might need to come live with me soon, so might be adding that pattern to cart. So check her out. And then Rachel of Lemonade Stitching. She is another fairly new Flosstuber. I think she started a little bit before me, maybe, but she's super sweet. She has a lot of really pretty projects going. She makes project bags. She started doing like these patchwork project bags, which were gorgeous, and she dyes fabric. I mean, she does it all. And she also has a really cute kitten named Sybil, I believe, that makes frequent cameos, so I very much recommend her channel. All the others that I listed, I'm sure you've heard of some of them already, but if not, go check them out. We're going to start off the day talking about finishes. So I have 2 to share. One was a gift, so I'll be popping in a picture, but this first one is the Greenhouse of Oddities style. This was done by Lola cross stitch, and I found a frame, or my mom did actually. So I don't have any details on where it's from, but it ended up fitting super well. I love the amount of margin that it gives on the side. This is done on 36 count anthracite by Exquisite Designs. I used all the called for DMCs. I did this 2 threads of DMC over 2 linen threads, and so it's pretty thick, but I liked the vibrancy of the colors and the effect that that gave. So I'll zoom in a little bit, get some of those details in there. There's so much to look at in this pattern, and this was like one of the first stitch alongs I've done. I haven't done too many, but this was the first that I actually kept up with. So it was a really fun, rewarding project to stitch. So yeah, this will be hanging up year round. I originally thought, like, maybe since it's a little spooky, that I'd only keep it up at Halloween, but not about that. This is going up year round, so one last look. And then the other is a Dimensions kit that I actually stitched when I was like 10 or 11. And I just had it like under the bed box, and I had like started it with the idea that I would give it to my aunt who has golden retrievers. And so here's a picture of the finish. I framed it in just like this frame that happened to be perfect, a perfect size. It was already like distressed. I found it at an antique mall in a booth that like mostly just sells those refurbished frames. So popped that in there, gave it to her when she was visiting recently, and I don't have any details on the name of the kit. I tried to do an eBay search before filming. I just was like looking for puppy golden retriever, puppy Dimensions cross stitch kits, and had no luck. So I'm very sorry that I don't have the details. Like I said, I stitched this when I was 10 or 11. So yeah, it's gone back in the vault. But yeah, I actually don't even remember stitching it, quite honestly. It happened, I guess. I have the product, but yeah. So that went off to a new home, and I'm glad to have one less thing out of my stack of finishes. So it's a win-win. And new starts. I guess we'll dive right in. I have quite a few. I certainly fell down the autumn stitching rabbit hole. But actually this first project that I'll show is for the Back to School sale, which was hosted by Lauren of New Hampshire Stitcher. So you're supposed to start or work on a big, awesome project. And this is starting September 1st. And the idea was to like kit up something, get all like the supplies that you need, sort of reminiscent of going back to school. So I chose Exquisite Lace by WorksbyABC, and I'm stitching this on a 40 count Seaweed by Fox and Rabbit. And it's a really, it's showing true. It's like a dark, well, it goes to brown to green to sort of like a bluish black color. It's really cool. And I decided, I think last time I filmed, I'd showed a few ranges of DMC that I was going to test out, and I ended up going with DMC 644. So it's like an off, like tan sort of has some green in there as well. It's showing up more white than it is, but yeah, this is like just a couple days of stitching. I really went to town on this and had a lot of fun. So I need to pick it back up and get some more stitches in. The second new start was something from my market haul from Abby Topknot, and that is a new designer to me anyway, Blueberry Ridge Designs, Autumn Sampler, or Sampler Seasons Autumn. Has so many good little motifs in there, and like look at those mushrooms. So I started this on 40 count Mayflower, I believe, by Fox and Rabbit. And I'm using this Sweet Potato by Color and Cotton, which I hope it's not a limited color, so I think I will only need 1 skein of it. The pattern says 2 on 40 count, but you get a little bit more with Color and Cotton, so I'm hoping more than you would with other fancy floss. So I'm hoping that I will not run out. I'm being very frugal, but it's not a limited edition, so hopefully I can order more if I do run out. But here's where I'm at. It's like really extreme variegation, which was, at first, I wasn't sure if I loved it, but I think it's turning out really cool. Sort of that brown orange 70s but also fall sort of theme going on. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this. It's deceivingly a large pattern. Like, I thought it wouldn't take that long to work up, but it's yeah, a little bit more than I thought it was. But it is fun. I got the alphabet done right off the bat, and I'm excited to start on the pumpkins hopefully soon. I don't know if that'll be a finish this year. I bit off a little bit more than I can chew, as you will tell. I was like, okay, I'll start all of these autumn whips and I'll finish all of them within the fall months. I don't think that's going to happen. As evidenced by this next pattern, which is Dark Golden Delicious by the Artsy Housewife. There's a light version of this as well. I bought this off of her Etsy shop, and it does go into Pattern Keeper with a little bit of finagling. And I actually dyed this linen myself. It's a 40 count, and I have a start. So I'm using all the called for over-dyed cottons for this. And my dye lots are a little bit different. So I think like this orange is actually more of like a yellow. But I'm liking how it's looking right now. I might switch to the DMC for that particular thread later on if I'm not happy with it. But again, lots of stitching. I mean, the pattern also makes it look a little small to me, but those flowers, I think I'm at like 1,500 stitches right now, and it's just a little section of the border, but it's really cool. I love this. This fabric is crazy modeling. I didn't know what I was going to do with it until I saw this pattern, and I had a little consult with Lauren of New Hampshire Stitcher, and she's like, just go for it. So I did. And yeah, I think I chose the, actually, believe it or not, the least busy part of the linen. Like what do you do with that? I don't know. I chose the darkest section. But yeah, I'm having fun with that. I really like the Artsy Housewife's patterns. I definitely have quite a few bookmarked on Etsy now, so there's that. My next start, yes, this is number 4. It's like a record for me, I think, in a month. Is The Pumpkin House by Hello from Liz Mathews, because obviously there's so many people on Instagram kidding and starting this. I had plans to start it possibly like October 1st, and then I just couldn't hold off any longer. But I've had it kitted for quite a while. Like, this was another market order I got from Abby at Top Knot Stitchery, Top Knot Stitcher Shop, and I had it kitted and I just wasn't starting it. And then Cam of Cam the Stitcher, for her golden birthday on the 28th, had a golden kit sale. So you were supposed to start a project or work on a project that you just hadn't touched or hadn't started for some reason. Like, it was too precious, you know. I think we all go through that a little bit. So I jumped in with this finally. And it's called to be stitched on 2 pieces of fabric. So you have like the dark and then the light, and then you sew them together. Actually, it's really cool. I'm too lazy, I guess. So I dyed, not designed. I dyed a piece of 32 count, like dip dyed it. So first I dyed like with tan and taupe rit, like equal amounts. I dyed this whole piece of fabric that color. And it's washing out. It's more of like a gray, a tannish gray. And then I mixed some evening blue rit with taupe, equal amounts again, and just like carefully, I'll do a demonstration. I carefully dipped the fabric into like this pan. It's like a baking pan, like an aluminum roasting pan or something like that, and just dipped it in until I thought it was like halfway down the fabric, and then carefully took it out, rinsed it out. Didn't get any dye spots on the white, which was impressive for me. And yeah, sort of have like this split 2-tone fabric now. So I avoided sewing successfully. And I started this on the 28th, today's the 30th, and I couldn't stop on that bottom half. I thought I would start with a house because I love stitching houses, but here we are. I have most of the inner border. I'm working on the leaves at the bottom, and then the pumpkins go in the center. That vine, I did breach the second half a little bit, the top half, and did a little flower stem there. But I think this is really cool. It's not perfect, like there's a little bit of white showing here, which like the house covers most of that, but there'll be like a little smidge of the lighter fabric showing, but it kind of looks like fog like rising from the ground, I think maybe. I think it's gonna work. And Liz, I saw in her most recent Flosstube mentioned that this may be like a series, which would be so much fun. I love a good series, and I think I like this, that dyeing was a fun adventure, so dyeing the 2-colored fabric. So I will be happy to do that again, and yeah, support Liz and her patterns once more. So then that brings us to whips. So I have 5. I'm looking around me because I'm not sure where I put that whip pile. My first, and I think I've been negligent in saying the designer name, and I'm very sorry about this because people have been asking, and I guess I don't mention it, and I put it in my notes, but I forget to actually say it aloud. So this time I am saying it. This is Sleeping Fox by NeedleLotDesigns. This is a 28 count linen that I dyed, or 28 count even weave that I dyed. And I actually have before pictures this time for all of my whips. So this is where it was looking, this is what it was looking like before. Give that a minute. And then here it is now. I filled in some green. I think I did a little bit on the fox. I'm about 2,000 stitches out from this being done. I was going to push and finish it this month, but just didn't happen. So hopefully in October, I'm envisioning this as like a mini wall hanging, so like a pendant sort of style where you have like the point at the bottom, if you catch my drift, and like have a little dowel that it hangs off of. I think that'll be really cute. I'm excited to fill in this background because that's all fill in. And those little mushrooms, you can see sort of the outline of the shell fungi coming in. So yeah, that is a fun one. The next whip I have is Autumn Town by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I have a goal of finishing this by Thanksgiving. So I have to do about 1,000 stitches a week. And so far I've kept up with that. We'll see. But this is another fabric that I dyed, Green Apple Rit. I don't think I mixed it with anything else. Green Apple Rit, it's a 28 count even weave. And here's where we are. Oh, here's the before. I will get better at this, hopefully. Here's the before, and here's where we are now. I worked over in this corner predominantly, sort of making my way over. I like doing the trees the best. The houses, I get a bit repetitive, but yeah. And then I have that sky to do, so I don't know what I'm thinking, but I mean, it's gonna be a lot of block stitching. But it is fun to mix that up between other projects where you're skipping around here and there. But in this, you can just do like 600 stitches in one chunk and one color and you're done. So hopefully that will be done this year. I started it back in 2021, I believe. So it's time that it gets done, I think. The next one is the Gather In by Plum Street Samplers. I have a picture. Start with that. And then the before. We're easing into this. And then I'm stitching this on a 40 count, I believe I have the tag on it. It's a Be Stitch Me fabric. I think it's Sand-Dollar. Yes, Sand-Dollar. And I'm using all the called for threads, the called for overdyes. And here's where we are. So I filled in that roof. I was very delusional, and when I picked this up, I was like, oh, I have the roof done. I'm gonna do like the windows and everything this week. And I took out the project, hadn't even started the roof. I'm very, like, I lie to myself a lot. I'm like, oh, I'm much farther ahead in this project than I really am. So it had been a while since I had worked on it and seen it, but yeah. I would like to finish the house this year. It's a massive house though, so, or barn, I'm not really sure what it is, house, barn. But I think that'd be a good sort of mini deadline for myself is to get the house done by the end of the year. Then there's all that like grass and fence line. And true confessions, I think my least favorite thing to stitch is fences. I really don't like a fence. I mean, I like the look of a fence, don't like actually stitching it. And then my next one is Autumn Cloche by Hello from Liz Mathews. And this is now a Hello from Liz Mathews Stan account, so. This is Autumn Cloche. I have a before picture. I have, well actually, wow, this is just going off the rails. This is what it looks like before picture. There's a sequence to these things, you know, and where I'm at now. I wanted to fill in those little butterflies, but I didn't quite get there before I had to move on to other things. I'm stitching this on a 40 count Grandpa's sleeve by Exquisite Designs. And I'm using color and cottons that are similar. I'm just pulling from Stash because I'm in Color and Cotton's Thread of the Month club, so I get quite a few of those, and I'm just pulling similar colors here and there. It's a lot of fun, and I hope to like work on that flower and get to that really cool bird next. All right, last whip is Autumn Spirit by Bowdish. This is like a pamphlet from the 80s or early 90s. I saw this first at a garage sale and I didn't buy it. The person who was selling it had it on like the oatmeal Ada and then like the edges taped, you know, like old school. And I didn't buy it, and then I left and I was like, I should have bought it. So then I ordered it off eBay for like $3. So it's definitely findable if you are in sort of this niche little group that wants to stitch a pheasant like I am. But there's quite a lot of detail in there, and the page break on this is not fun. It's so confusing. Like it overlaps in the bottom, the side, and the top, and it's too much for my brain to handle, and I messed that up a little bit. So then I had to like figure out where my mistake was. Here's where I was beforehand. Just had like this little chunk, you couldn't even tell what I was working on, of the wing. And I frequently still have to orient my fabric and make sure I'm holding it the right way. Here's where I am now. It's very wrinkled. I apologize. Ooh, gosh. So I have more of a wing. This is on 32 count Willow by Bee Stitch Me when I was in her fabric of the month. Also, look at that needle. I am a little sad because the DMC colors have changed quite a bit from what was called for then to now. And I don't know if you can tell, but okay, so keep that in your mind. And look at the lighter colors that's in the wing in the picture. It's a little different. It's kind of inverted. It's like the lighter color is now the darker color. And I think it still looks good. Like it looks like a pheasant wing, but I don't know. That's what put me off on it. Like I started filling everything in, and then I was like, wait, this doesn't look quite right, but I think I'm gonna keep going. I think it'll look good. And then you have the back stitching in there that like outlines the feathers, so I think it'll look fine. But yeah, that was my hang up on this one. It was a little discouraging, but we'll keep going. We'll push through. All right, so that is all of my whips. I'll talk about my plans next. I think I want to continue with some fall starts. I have, this goes into the haul a little bit, but I picked up Harvest Tiny Town by Hands On Design. That came out at Needlework Market this year, and I really want to start it. I think I'm going to start this one first, and then they have Spooky Tiny Town, I believe, or yeah, it's like Halloween one. I want to start that this month as well. The last time I stitched a Tiny Town, I got it done in like 7 days, so I think I could get both of those done in October. I think I'll start maybe this one October 1st. I have some 28, I stitched all of those on 28 count, and I have the 4th of July Tiny Town and Valentine's Tiny Town done, so. And the Christmas one in my stash along with the Halloween, so I need to get on these, and I think I'm gonna do both of those, the fall and the October one. in October. Explaining this so well, aren't I? And I'm gonna make all these into drums as well, I think, eventually. I have goals for myself, but I've never done a drum, so we'll be relying heavily on Vanna Pfeiffer's tutorial that is in, I think, the Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine. She's a segment and has instructions for making things into drums, so we'll be definitely relying on that for guidance. But so that's a little bit of plans. That's all I'm gonna commit myself to right now. I probably be working on similar whips in the month of October. I really like stitching on things in the season, and this year especially. Like last year I didn't get into fall stitching in the fall, but this year I'm all about it, so I think we'll keep going there. And then a little bit into haul. So it's kind of haul adjacent. I acquired the linen and then I dyed it, so we'll have a fabric dyeing session here. This is we'll start off with 46 count. So I have 2 pieces of 46. So Rit Dye has like a new color, I believe. It's called Sage. So I used Sage and a little bit of taupe, and I came up with this. It's like, it's showing pretty true. It's like a greenish, well, sage color with a little green because I added, or gray because I added taupe to it. I mean, that's how that works, in case you were wondering. I'm not sure what I'll put on this, but it's fun to have. I really like dyeing fabric. It doesn't ever, I have to let go of my control issues a little bit because it never turns out exactly how I wanted, but it is fun. And then this next one is like a gray color that I was trying to go for. I think I went on to the Rit Dye has like these different recipes or color combinations that you can make with all the different colors, and I think this was pale feldspar from their site that I went with. So this linen is like really gauzy, like you can like see through that to the extreme, but I've worked on it before. This is like the Hobby Lobby brand, and I did one other piece on this 46 count, and it was really nice to work with, and it irons out like really well. Not that you can tell because I didn't iron these, but yeah, it does iron out. All those creases come out super fast without steam or anything, so that's great. Then I have 2 pieces of 28 count even weave that I dyed. This is like a tan, sort of gingerbready color. I was thinking maybe I could use this for Harvest Tiny Town. I think that would look good. So yeah, I'm gonna use a little sliver of that for Tiny Town. And then the next one is another like taupe gray. It's my jam. Very much go for neutrals color, but yeah, that's washing out. It's not just white. And then one more. I had bought, when I did like the fabric for the pumpkin house and I bought that linen, the 32 count linen, I bought another piece of the same size in case I messed up and the 2 color fabric did not work. So this is the just like neutral base color that I started with before I dunked it in the blue. So I did 2 of those. And it's very mottled, you can't really tell, but it's pretty splotchy with tan and then like a lighter tan. It's so interesting, I know, but yeah, I'll use that for something someday. And that concludes the fabric dyeing section. I am going to branch a little bit into yarn here. I bought these 2 Malabrigo, I believe, yarns. I'll get the tags out so I can talk about them properly. This is Malabrigo sock, so fingering weight. Chocolate, something I can't pronounce, Amargo. It's really pretty. And then the other is Malabrigo Geppetto. It's really this pretty pink. And what I got this for is I have a family road trip coming up. It's more than a road trip. We're driving to Telluride, Colorado for my brother's wedding. And I need a car project. So I had done the shift cowl by Andrea Mowry. It was like my first getting back into knitting project at the beginning of this year. And it's like a slip strand mosaic knitting is what it's called pattern. And I had a lot of fun with that. And she does a lot of those types of mosaic patterns and I missed working on it. So I found this, it's the Montana cowl. I'm gonna use these 2 yarns for it. And it's gonna be what I do in the car for 20+ hours. So I think this will be like the base color, and then this will be like that sort of triangle inner design color. So I know I've been showing recently like lots of yarn that I bought, and then the projects that I have intended for them, and then I don't start them yet. Those are holding off, but this one I'm actually going to start, okay? Going to start that one. Yeah, okay, that was all of my haul. I sort of had like this pattern sprinkled throughout my whips. The next segment is crochet and knitting. So if you want to stick around for that, I had a finish on the Bahama Blouse by Hooked on Homemade Happiness. I'll put in a picture of me wearing it because it's very difficult to show. This is a free pattern. It works up really fast. It's like a modified half double crochet sort of pattern, and it's really cool. I used a cotton yarn for this from Hobby Lobby. I think it was called Fundamental Cotton in the color beige. And it has like a lace shell pattern on the bottom, and then for the sleeves, it's like a raglan style, so no seaming. It's awesome. I love not having to sew when I don't have to. So yeah, there's the back. And then my next crochet whip is the Jilly cardigan by Woodward Designs. I showed this last time. Nothing too exciting to report there, but I did work more on the sleeves. This project I've had going for like 3 years now. And like I get started on granny square projects and I just keep going, and then I hit a wall, usually at around 50-75% being done, and then I don't go any farther, and then they just sit in a bag in my closet for 2 to 3 years. So that's where I'm at with this project, but I really want it done so I can wear it this season. This is the front panel. It's a cardigan, like I said, so that's where the sleeves will go. Front panel, the back, and then I have one sleeve started. And you need 5 rows of 4 squares, so I'm almost there. 3 more, and I have one sleeve done. I'm on Sleeve Island, and I have to do the other sleeve because unfortunately we have 2 arms. But yeah, I'm trying to do 4 granny squares a day, and I hopefully will have one sleeve done by the end of this weekend. Just the other to do. And then I do have to, I can't avoid sewing on this one. I have to attach the sleeves, unfortunately, but it'll get there. Maybe that'll be a finish in October. I say that and then I kind of doom myself, but that's the crochet section for today. It's a little weak. Also a little weak this month is my thrifting section. I hit the garage sales hard at the beginning of the month. Like Labor Day was a big, in the States was a big rummage sailing sort of season, but I didn't get a whole lot out of that. A few things here and there, not really worth showing. I did, however, have the find of my life, I think. Not to be dramatic, but we pulled up to this garage sale and I saw what I'm about to show you in a picture because it's very big and I don't have it with me. I saw it, I ran in, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a $200, $300 item. It's a space age terrarium. They go for an insane amount of money. And if you find them at estate sales, they're usually already sold and at the front, like hanging out for the person to pick them up. So I kind of gave up hope of ever getting one of these. They were selling it for $2. I at first thought I didn't see the period in there and it was $200, and I was like, oh, no way. No way is this $2. So I bring it up to the seller and he was like, oh, you don't have to feel bad about this purchase because the money is going to this charity in this town. And I was like, I'm not gonna feel bad about this at all. Maybe just that I'm taking you to the cleaners, I feel like, by only paying you $2 for this, but I'm not gonna feel guilty about bringing something else into my house, that's for sure. And he was like, well, my kids are actually keeping hermit crabs in it. So, I definitely cleaned this out like very well. Power washed the heck out of it. Tons of Dawn dish soap. But yeah, I am so excited to be the owner of a space age terrarium. I haven't put anything in it yet. I'm trying to find like the optimal space for it in my apartment. As you can see, I have like a little jungle going on here, and space is definitely limited, but if nothing else, it'll hang out in my garage until I have a house one day and have room for it. But yeah, that was super exciting. Okay, I think that's everything on my list except for the giveaway. So at the end of October, I will pull a winner for this. I'd like to give away a $25 gift card to a site of your choice. I'll give like a list of 3, just so it's more accessible to everyone in case shipping to your country or location isn't supported by each of these sites. So ideally, like Top Knot Stitcher, I'd love to support a smaller business. But if you'd rather have a gift card to 123 Stitch or Etsy, I'm cool with that as well. So I'll draw a winner the next time I film. How about, I didn't think of a keyword, but why don't we just be basic and say the word science somewhere in your comment, and you'll be entered to win. I will draw a winner next time I film, so towards the end of October. If a new video isn't up yet, you can still enter. So I just want to say thank you again for supporting my channel, and this is just a little way that I would like to give back. So I'm done. That wraps up everything for this time around. I'll be back at the end of October. We'll talk stitching again, maybe a little more thrifting. And in the meantime, take care, enjoy your stitching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.